The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. Picture this: a seasoned pilot lying motionless in a sterile hospital bed. 24 hours ago, he was dancing through clouds. Now his entire universe has collapsed into 4 white walls. His plane crashed. His body? Completely shattered. Paralyzed from the neck down. He can't move a finger. Can't utter a single word. Can't even draw breath without a machine doing it for him. His spinal cord is crushed. Vertebrae in his neck obliterated. The doctors gather around with grim faces and deliver their verdict. Vegetative state. Permanent. The only voluntary movement left to him for the rest of his days? Blinking his eyes. That's the reality everyone else sees. A life sentence. A tragedy with no hope of appeal. But inside that broken shell, something extraordinary is happening. His mind? Still soaring. He hears every word the doctors say, but he's tuning into a different frequency, a quiet, unshakable voice deep within. While medical professionals see a hopeless case, he's painting an entirely different picture in his imagination. He sees himself whole, breathing freely, walking through those hospital doors on his own 2 feet. His name is Morris Goodman, and his story doesn't end in tragedy. It explodes into triumph. It's a story that makes medical professionals scratch their heads, that defies every logical prediction, and it stands as one of the most compelling demonstrations of a force that history's greatest minds have known and wielded. A force so elegantly simple, yet so staggeringly powerful, that it's orchestrating every single moment of your existence right now, whether you realize it or not. This force is what we're here to explore today. It's the beating heart of a book that swept across the planet like wildfire, a book born from its author's darkest hour. In 2004, Rhonda Byrne hit rock bottom, exhausted, grief-stricken over her father's sudden death, her relationships crumbling, everything falling apart. And it was precisely there, in that pit of despair, that she stumbled onto something that would change everything, a glimpse into an ancient secret. It came through a century-old book her daughter handed her. What she discovered lit a fire that sent her on a 2-year odyssey, following this hidden thread backward through time. She found it woven into Plato's teachings, Shakespeare's plays, Beethoven's symphonies, Edison's workshops, and Einstein's equations. A single question burned in her mind: why doesn't everyone know this? Possessed by an almost urgent need to share it, she created The Secret. The book, along with its companion film, became a global phenomenon. Over 35 million copies sold, translated into more than 50 languages. It makes an audacious promise to hand you the master key to the universe itself, the key that unlocks happiness, health, and wealth. It claims, boldly and without apology, that you can have, be, or do absolutely anything you want. Today we're diving deep into that claim. We're pulling back the curtain on this so-called great secret of life. By the time we're done, you'll understand the single, all-encompassing law that shapes your existence, and you'll learn the simple, actionable steps to harness it intentionally and create the life you've been dreaming about. This isn't fairy dust and wishful thinking. This is about grasping the fundamental mechanics of how the universe actually operates, and understanding your pivotal role within it. So take a moment, settle in. Let's begin this journey. Ever wonder what the secret actually is? Beneath all the mystery and hype, it comes down to one of the most ancient and powerful principles in the universe, the law of attraction. The concept itself? Beautifully simple. Like attracts like. We witness this everywhere. People with shared interests naturally gravitate toward each other. But The Secret takes this concept and expands it into something far more profound. It claims this law doesn't just govern people. It governs your thoughts. Whatever dominates your thinking, you pull toward you. Whatever occupies your mind consistently becomes your lived experience. Think of yourself as the most powerful magnet in existence, more powerful than anything else on this planet. And this extraordinary magnetic force doesn't emanate from your hands or your heart. It broadcasts through your thoughts. Every single thought you generate is tangible. It's energy. It vibrates at a specific frequency like a radio signal. When you think a thought, you launch that signal into the universe. And that signal, functioning like a magnet, attracts other things vibrating on the same wavelength. And where does it all circle back to? Straight back to the source. Back to you. You're essentially a human transmission tower, constantly broadcasting a frequency with every thought. Your transmission constructs your life and shapes your world. The circumstances you're experiencing aren't random events happening to you. They're the results of the frequency you're broadcasting. If you want to transform your life, you don't wrestle with the circumstances you're seeing. You simply change the channel. You adjust the frequency. And you do that by changing your thoughts. Here's where things get interesting and, for many people, a little uncomfortable. The book is crystal clear. Everything flowing into your life right now, you attracted. The wonderful and the terrible. The exciting promotion and the mountain of bills. The nurturing relationships and the toxic ones. Your current life is a perfect mirror reflecting your past thoughts. Want to know what you've been predominantly thinking about? Just look around you. The evidence is everywhere. Dr. Joe Vitale, one of the teachers featured in the book, acknowledges this can be tough to swallow. He says you'll probably want to push back. I didn't attract that car accident. I didn't attract that nightmare client. I definitely didn't attract this debt. But the book gently, persistently insists. Yes, you did, not deliberately, of course. Nobody consciously invites unwanted experiences. It happens from simply being unaware of the incredible creative power our thoughts possess. Most of us attract on autopilot. Our thoughts and feelings run on default settings, and so our life materializes by default. Here's the problem, and it's massive. Most people fixate on what they don't want. They worry obsessively about debt. They complain endlessly about their job. They focus on their illness. They think, I don't want to be late, I don't want to bomb this test, I don't want to get into a fight. But the law of attraction is completely impartial. It's like gravity. It doesn't care whether you're good or bad. Step off a building and down you go. The law of attraction doesn't judge your thoughts as positive or negative. It doesn't register the don't or the not. It simply responds to whatever you're thinking about. When you think, I don't want to be in debt, the universe hears debt. When you think, I don't want to be sick, the universe hears sick. When you fixate on what you lack, you magnetize more lack. The law simply delivers whatever occupies your mental space. Period. It's operating continuously, whether you believe in it or not. The moment you become conscious of this law, you wake up. You realize the staggering power you possess, that you can literally think your life into existence. Now, your first reaction might be slight panic. I have to monitor all my thoughts? That sounds exhausting. Researchers estimate we have around 60,000 thoughts daily. Trying to police every single one would be impossible. Fortunately, there's a much easier way, a built-in guidance system. Your feelings, your emotions are an incredible gift. They're a feedback mechanism, instantly revealing what you're thinking. Ever had a perfectly good day suddenly shift when you hear bad news? That sinking feeling in your stomach? That's an immediate signal. It's telling you your thoughts just shifted onto a negative frequency. You experience two categories of feelings, good feelings and bad feelings, and you always know the difference. Bad feelings: anger, resentment, guilt, depression, feel heavy, disempowering. Good feelings: joy, love, gratitude, excitement, feel light. They make you feel, well, good. Here's the crucial connection. It's impossible to feel bad while thinking good thoughts. It's equally impossible to feel good while thinking bad thoughts. Your thoughts always generate your feelings. So your feelings become the simplest barometer for what you're attracting. Feeling good. You're dialed into the frequency that's pulling more good things toward you. The universe is responding by orchestrating more situations that'll make you feel good. When you're experiencing joy, excitement, love, you're powerfully broadcasting to the universe, yes, more of this, please. Feeling bad? You're tuned into a frequency that's drawing more unwanted experiences. It's like your personal early warning system. The universe is communicating back. Alert! You're generating negative thoughts. Change frequency immediately. Manifestation of more unwanted stuff incoming. So your job isn't controlling 60,000 thoughts. Your job is staying tuned into how you're feeling. And when you're not feeling good, you know it's time to shift. This is where secret shifters come into play. A secret shifter is anything that can transform your feelings instantly. Create a mental list of things guaranteed to make you smile. Maybe it's a cherished memory, someone you love deeply, your favorite song, a hilarious cat video, a walk in nature. When you catch yourself feeling down, frustrated, or worried, reach for one of these. Put on that song. Visualize that baby smile. Step outside. Focus on it for just a minute or two. That's often all it takes to redirect your focus, transform your feelings, and reconnect with a positive frequency. And of all the feelings you can cultivate, there's one that resonates at the highest, most powerful frequency possible: love. The feeling of love is the ultimate creative force. If you could wrap every thought in love, if you could love everything and everyone, your entire life would transform. When you harbor unkind thoughts about someone, you only damage yourself. Your thoughts are signals you broadcast, and they must boomerang back to you. But when you think thoughts of love, guess who receives the benefits? You do. The greater the love you feel and radiate, the greater the power you're harnessing. This brings us to one of the most profound questions you can ever contemplate, a question posed by the brilliant Albert Einstein. Is this a friendly universe? Knowing what you now know about the law of attraction, there's only one answer. Absolutely. The universe is friendly. Because when you believe that, when you feel that, the law of attraction must make it your reality. The universe will conspire in your favor. It will support you. It will deliver all good things to you. You are the creator of your universe, and the law of attraction is your magnificent tool. So how do you actually use this tool? How do you move from understanding the law to actively applying it to design the life you want? The book outlines an elegantly simple three-step process called the creative process. It's beautifully illustrated using a metaphor we all know: Aladdin and his magic lamp. Aladdin discovers the lamp, gives it a rub, and out pops the genie. And what's the genie's signature line? Your wish is my command. In this metaphor, you're Aladdin. You're the one making the requests. The genie represents the universe, the law of attraction. It's perpetually present, constantly listening to everything you think, speak, and do. The genie never questions your commands. It assumes everything occupying your thoughts is something you desire. And it has one, and only one, response: your wish is my command. The creative process gives you a straightforward framework to articulate your wishes clearly. 3 steps: ask, believe, and receive. Step 1. Ask. This is your responsibility. You need to issue a clear command to the universe. Let it know precisely what you want. But here's the key. You must get crystal clear. You can't broadcast a fuzzy, mixed signal and expect a clear result. Bob Proctor, another teacher in the book, suggests sitting down and writing it out, write in the present tense. I am so happy and grateful now that, and then describe in vivid detail the life you desire in every area. Don't worry about how big it sounds. Want to be a millionaire? What kind of house lights you up inside? What kind of relationship makes your heart sing? What do you really, truly want? This isn't greed. It's clarity. It's like browsing the universe's catalog and saying, I'd love to experience this, and I'd like to have that product, and I'd like to meet a person like that. You're placing your order with the universe, and you only need to ask once. You don't place an order from a catalog and then, doubting it was received, keep ordering the same thing repeatedly. You order once and trust it's on its way. Which brings us to the second, and perhaps most challenging, step. Step 2. Believe. You must believe that what you asked for already belongs to you. This requires unwavering faith, believing in the unseen. The instant you ask, you need to know that what you want is yours. You need to feel it. In that moment when you ask and believe, the entire universe shifts to bring your desire from the invisible realm into visible reality. This is why you must act, speak, and think as though you're receiving it now. Why? Because the universe functions as a mirror. The law of attraction reflects your dominant thoughts and feelings. If your thoughts fixate on not having it yet, you'll keep attracting not having it yet. You need to inhabit the feeling of already having it. Think about it. When you book a vacation, you know it's yours. You start telling friends. You buy a new swimsuit. You don't go book another vacation for the same dates, just in case. You know it's coming. That's the feeling of belief. So how do you reach that point? Start make-believing. Channel your inner child. Act as if you already have it. The genie responds to your thoughts continuously, not just in the moment you ask. Your belief, your unshakable faith, is your greatest power. A common obstacle here is getting tangled up in the how. Most of us have never allowed ourselves to truly want what we want because we can't envision how it could possibly happen. I want to make $1 million, but I have absolutely no idea how to make that happen. The book is emphatic on this. The how is not your job. The how belongs to the universe. Your job is focusing on the what. The universe will figure out the shortest, fastest, most harmonious path between you and your dream. When you try figuring out the how, you're broadcasting a frequency of doubt. You're telling the universe, I don't really trust you can do this, so I need to control it. Let it go. Trust that the way will reveal itself. Which leads us to the final and most joyful step. Step 3. Receive. This step is all about feeling. You must feel good. Feel the way you'll feel when your desire arrives. Feel it right now. This is a feeling universe. If you only intellectually believe something without a corresponding emotional resonance underneath, you lack the power to manifest it. You must feel it. You wouldn't ask for something unless you thought receiving it would make you feel good, right? So get yourself onto that feel-good frequency now. A quick technique. Say to yourself, I am receiving now. I am receiving all the good in my life now. I am receiving my perfect relationship now. And feel it. Feel it as though you already possess it. When you're in that state of feeling good, experiencing joy and gratitude, you're tuned to the frequency of receiving. You're a perfect vibrational match for the good things you've asked for, and they must find their way to you. So to recap the creative process, ask for what you want, believe it's already yours, and feel good now to receive it. Now that you have the framework, let's explore two of the most powerful tools you can use to supercharge this entire experience: gratitude and visualization. Let's start with gratitude. Dr. Joe Vitale says if you want to turn your entire life around right now, the very first thing you can do is start making a list of things you're grateful for. This single simple act shifts your energy and thinking almost instantly. Before the exercise, you might be fixated on problems, complaints, what's missing. But when you shift to gratitude, you head in a completely different direction. You start acknowledging all the things that feel good. Gratitude is the ultimate way to invite more into your life. It's impossible to bring more into your life when you're ungrateful for what you already have. Why? Because the feelings you emit when you're ungrateful, jealousy, resentment, dissatisfaction, are all negative emotions. They can only magnetize more situations that generate those feelings. Those negative feelings literally block your good from reaching you. Be grateful for what you have now. As you start thinking about things you're grateful for, you'll be amazed at the never-ending stream of thoughts that flow back to you about more things to appreciate. The law of attraction receives those grateful thoughts and delivers more just like them. You lock into the gratitude frequency, and all good things become yours. A wonderful practice shared in the book is the gratitude rock. Lee Brower tells a story about finding a simple rock and deciding that every time he touched it, he'd think of something he was grateful for. He'd put it in his pocket in the morning and empty it out at night. This simple trigger kept him in a constant state of gratitude. He even shared this idea with a man from South Africa whose son was dying from a rare disease. The man requested 3 gratitude rocks. Months later, he wrote back that his son had improved, and they'd sold over 1,000 gratitude rocks for charity. It's about cultivating an attitude of gratitude. One of the most powerful applications is giving thanks in advance for what you want. When you're writing down your desires in the ask step, begin each sentence with, "I am so happy and grateful now that..." When you give thanks as though you've already received what you want, you're broadcasting a powerful signal. You're telling the universe you already have it because you're feeling the gratitude for it now. You're demonstrating perfect faith. The second powerful process is visualization. Visualization has been taught by great teachers throughout the centuries. The reason it's so powerful is that when you create vivid pictures in your mind of having what you want, you're generating the thoughts and feelings of having it now. Visualization is simply powerfully focused thought in pictures, and it generates equally powerful feelings. You're broadcasting that powerful frequency into the universe, and the law of attraction must return those pictures to you as your reality. There's a fascinating story about the Olympic program. They had athletes run their event only in their minds. Hooked up to sophisticated biofeedback equipment, incredibly, the exact same muscles fired in the same sequence as when they were actually running the race on the track. How is this possible? Because the mind can't distinguish whether you're really doing it or just practicing mentally. If you've been there in the mind, you'll go there in the body. Think about every great inventor, the Wright brothers and the airplane, Thomas Edison and the light bulb. The only way anything has ever been invented is because one person saw a picture in their mind. They held that picture of the end result, and all the forces of the universe brought it into physical reality through them. When you visualize, it's crucial to always dwell on the end result. Don't worry about the process of getting there. Just focus on the outcome. Mike Dooley offers a great exercise. He says, look at the back of your hands. Really study them. The color of your skin, the freckles, the fingernails. Now, close your eyes and see those same hands wrapping around the steering wheel of your brand new car. The key is making the experience so real, so holographic, that you feel like you already have it. When you open your eyes, it should feel like a slight jolt to find yourself back in your physical room. That's when you know your visualization hit its mark. It's the feeling that creates the attraction, not just the picture. If you're visualizing having what you want but still feeling lack, it won't work. You need to put yourself in the feeling place of really being in that car, living in that house, being in that relationship. A wonderful tool for this is a vision board. John Assaraf used this with incredible success. He collected pictures of things he wanted to achieve or attract, a car, a watch, his dream home, and arranged them on a board he'd look at every day. He'd sit and visualize, immersing himself in the state of having already acquired them. Years later, after several moves, he was unpacking old boxes with his young son. He opened a box containing his old vision boards. On one was a picture of a house he'd been visualizing 5 years earlier. He was shocked to realize he was living in that exact house. Not a similar house. The very same one. He'd bought his dream home, renovated it, and hadn't even consciously realized it was the one from his board. He started crying, finally understanding the true power of visualization and the law of attraction. So you have the law, you have the process, and you have the tools. Now let's see how this applies to the biggest areas of your life: money, relationships, and health. Let's start with money. To attract money, you must focus on wealth. It's impossible to bring more money into your life when you're fixated on the lack of it. Focusing on not enough money only creates more circumstances of not having enough money. You need to tip the balance of your thoughts from lack to abundance. Jack Canfield, the co-creator of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series, shares a powerful story about this. He grew up with a father who believed rich people were evil and that money was hard to come by. Jack carried these limiting beliefs for years. When he was making about $8,000 a year, his mentor, W. Clement Stone, told him to set a goal so big it would blow his mind. Jack said, "I want to make $100,000 in a year." He had absolutely no idea how, but he followed the process. He made a fake $100,000 bill and taped it to his ceiling so it was the first thing he saw every morning. He'd close his eyes and visualize the lifestyle that came with it. For about a month, nothing happened. Then one day, he had a $100,000 idea. He had a book he'd written. He thought, if I can sell 400,000 copies at $0.25 each, that's $100,000. He didn't know how to sell that many copies. But soon after, he saw the National Enquirer at the supermarket. He'd seen it a million times, but this time it jumped out at him. He thought, if their readers knew about my book, surely 400,000 people would buy it. Weeks later, he gave a talk, and a woman approached him. She was a freelance writer who sold stories to, you guessed it, the National Enquirer. The article came out, and his book sales exploded. That year, he didn't make $100,000, he made $92,327. But he wasn't disappointed, he was amazed. He and his wife then decided to try for $1 million. Soon after, he received his first royalty check for Chicken Soup for the Soul, $1 million check. The point is getting into the feeling of wealth before you have it. Play games. Pretend your bills are checks. When a bill arrives, get excited and say, "Thank you for this money." Imagine adding a zero to the amount. Another powerful technique is changing your language. If I can't afford it, is part of your vocabulary, you must eliminate it. Every time you say that, the genie says, "Your wish is my command." Instead, for the next 30 days, look at everything you like and say to yourself, "I can afford that. I can buy that." As you see your dream car, say, "I can afford that." You'll begin shifting your mindset and feeling better about money, and as you do, it will begin flowing into your life. Giving is another powerful action. When you give, you're declaring, "I have plenty." The wealthiest people on the planet are the greatest philanthropists. They give vast amounts away, and by the law of attraction, the universe floods even more back to them. If you're thinking, "I don't have enough to give," now you know why you don't have enough. Start giving, even if it's small. As you demonstrate faith through giving, the law will give you more to give. Now let's turn to relationships. The principles are exactly the same, but the focus shifts. When you want to attract a relationship, you must ensure your thoughts, words, and actions don't contradict your desires. There's a wonderful story of a woman who wanted to attract her perfect partner. She did all the right things. She made a detailed list of his qualities and visualized him in her life. But nothing was happening. Then one day she came home and parked her car right in the middle of her two-car garage. She had a sudden realization. Her actions were contradicting her desire. There was no room for her partner's car. Her actions were powerfully telling the universe, "I don't really believe he's coming." So she immediately started parking on one side. She went into her bedroom and cleared out half her closet to make space for his clothes. She started sleeping on one side of the bed. She was acting as if he was already there. Not long after, she met her perfect partner, and they're now happily married. But the most important relationship the book discusses is the one you have with yourself. Here's a question worth pondering. Do you treat yourself the way you want other people to treat you? If you don't treat yourself with love and respect, you're broadcasting a signal that says you're not important, not worthy, not deserving. And you'll attract people and situations that confirm that belief. The people are just the effect. Your thoughts are the cause. Your job is you. Many of us were taught to put ourselves last, to sacrifice for others. But sacrificing yourself can only come from a thought of lack. It says, "There's not enough for everyone, so I'll go without." This doesn't feel good. Unless you fill yourself up first, you have nothing to give anybody. Therefore, it's imperative that you tend to yourself first, attend to your joy. When you do what makes you feel good, you become a joy to be around. You become a shining example for everyone in your life. You need to fall in love with yourself. When you feel bad about yourself, you're blocking all the love and all the good the universe has for you. You must change your focus and begin thinking about all the wonderful things about you. Look for the positives. As you focus on them, the law of attraction will show you more great things about you. And when it comes to your relationships with others, especially difficult ones, the advice is the same. Focus on what you appreciate. Take a piece of paper and, for the next 30 days, write down all the things you appreciate about that person. When you focus on acknowledging their strengths, you'll get more of them, and the problems will fade away. Finally, let's talk about health. The book proposes a radical idea. Our body is the product of our thoughts. Medical science is beginning to understand the degree to which our thoughts and emotions determine the physical substance and function of our bodies. The placebo effect is a perfect example of the law of attraction in action. A placebo is just a sugar pill, something that supposedly has no effect. But when a patient truly believes the tablet is a cure, they receive what they believe. They get cured. The human mind is the biggest factor in the healing arts. All stress, which Dr. Ben Johnson calls the root of all disease, begins with one negative thought, one thought that went unchecked, and then more thoughts piled on until stress manifested in the body. But just as negative thoughts can create disease, positive thoughts can create health. Laughter, joy, love, and gratitude can dissolve any disease. Kathy Goodman shares her personal story of being diagnosed with breast cancer. She truly believed in her heart that she was already healed. Every day she'd say, "Thank you for my healing." She saw herself as if cancer had never been in her body. And one of the main things she did to heal herself was watch funny movies and just laugh, laugh, laugh. Within 3 months, without any radiation or chemotherapy, the cancer was gone. Disease cannot live in a body that's in a healthy emotional state. Science tells us our body is constantly replacing its cells. Parts of our body are replaced every day, other parts every few months. Within a few years, you have a brand new physical body. So how can an illness remain for years? It can only be held there by thought, by observing the illness, and by giving attention to the illness. If you have a disease and you're focusing on it, talking about it constantly, you're creating more diseased cells. The book's advice is to see yourself living in a perfectly healthy body. Let the doctor look after the disease while you focus your mind on perfect health. Incurable, says Dr. John DeMartini, simply means curable from within. This brings us back to the incredible story of Morris Goodman, the miracle man. Lying in that hospital bed, paralyzed, the doctors had given up. But Morris hadn't. He used the only thing he had to work with, his mind. He pictured himself being a normal person again. They said he'd never breathe on his own again, but a little voice kept whispering, "Breathe deeply," and eventually he was weaned off the respirator. They couldn't explain it. He set a goal to walk out of the hospital on Christmas Day. He held that vision in his mind, refusing to allow any distracting or negative thoughts to enter. And on Christmas Day, 1981, he did it. He walked out of that hospital on his own 2 feet, a feat they'd said was impossible. His story, and all the others in this book, point to one magnificent truth. There are no limits. Not for money, not for relationships, and not for health. The only limits exist in our own minds. And this applies not just to our personal lives, but to the world at large. We're often taught to fight against the things we don't want. Fighting poverty, fighting war, fighting drugs. But the book explains that this only creates more of a fight. What you resist persists. Because when you resist something, you're powerfully focused on it with emotion. The anti-war movement creates more war. The anti-drug movement creates more drugs. Because we're focusing on what we don't want. Mother Teresa was brilliant. She said, "I will never attend an anti-war rally. If you have a peace rally, invite me." She understood. Instead of being anti-war, be pro-peace. Instead of being anti-hunger, be pro-people having more than enough to eat. Energy flows where attention goes. You cannot help the world by focusing on negative things. As you focus on negative world events, you not only add to them, but you bring more negative things into your own life. Your power lies in focusing on what is wanted. Focus on joy, on abundance, on love. As you feel good, you uplift your own life, and you uplift the world. This raises a common question. If everyone uses the secret, won't we run out of stuff? The book's answer is a resounding no. There's a lie that acts like a virus in the mind of humanity. The lie of limitation, the idea that there's not enough to go around. This lie has people living in fear, greed, and stinginess, and those thoughts become their experience. The truth is, there's more than enough. More than enough. Creative ideas. more than enough power, more than enough love, more than enough joy. Your ability to think is unlimited, and so the things you can think into existence are unlimited. We don't all want the same car, the same house, or the same experiences. The beauty is that there's enough for everyone to have exactly what they want. We're all connected. We're all part of one single energy field, one universal mind. There's no out there and in here. We are one. This is why negative thoughts about someone else only return to harm you. This is why when you compete, you're only competing against yourself. You need to get competition out of your mind and become a creative mind. Focus only on your dreams and your visions. Everything you are is energy, and energy can never be created or destroyed. It only changes form. That means the true essence of you has always been and always will be. You're a spiritual being, an energy field operating in a larger energy field. You are, as the book puts it, God in a physical body. You're the creator, and you're creating the creation of you on this planet. So the real question is, what are you going to do now? You can either keep fixating on the past, on the things that went wrong, or you can focus on what you want. When you start focusing on what you don't want falls away. You're the designer of your destiny. You're the author. The pen is in your hand, and the outcome is whatever you choose. And that brings us to the secret to life itself. If you could fill the blackboard of your life with anything you wanted, what would it be? There's no blackboard in the sky where some higher power has written your purpose. Your purpose is what you say it is. Your mission is the mission you give yourself. And what should be your primary aim? Joy. Find your joy and live it. Do only those things which bring you joy. If it's not fun, don't do it. When you follow your bliss, as the great mythologist Joseph Campbell said, the universe will open doors for you where there were only walls. When you pet your cat, you're in a state of joy. When you walk in nature, you're in a state of joy. When you listen to your favorite music, you're in a state of joy. Inner happiness is the fuel of success. Your job isn't to change the world. Your job is to find what makes you feel good and do more of that. As you radiate joy, the law of attraction will pour an avalanche of joyful things, people, and circumstances into your life. The secret, in the end, is within you. You are the power. You are the creator. You are the perfection of life. The earth turns on its orbit for you. The sun rises and sets for you. Every beautiful thing you see exists for you. None of it can exist without you. And now you know the secret. So what do we take away from all of this? At its heart, The Secret is a book about empowerment. It's a radical call to take 100% responsibility for your life. The central message is that you're not a victim of your circumstances. You're the creator of them. Your thoughts, your feelings, your focus, these are the tools you use to build your reality, moment by moment. The book's greatest strength is its profound simplicity. The law of attraction, ask, believe, receive, gratitude, visualization. These aren't complex, academic theories. They're simple, practical principles that anyone can start applying today. And perhaps that's why it has resonated with so many millions of people. It takes ancient wisdom, found in spiritual texts and philosophical traditions for thousands of years, and presents it in a way that feels accessible and modern. For someone hearing these ideas for the first time, especially at a young age, it can be life-altering. The realization that you're not powerless, that you have a say in what happens in your life, is one of the most liberating feelings in the world. It shifts you from a passive passenger to the active driver of your own destiny. Now, it's also a book that has faced its share of criticism. Some argue that it oversimplifies complex problems. suggesting that you can just think your way out of poverty or illness. But I believe that's a misunderstanding of the core message. It's not just about thinking, it's about being. It's about changing your entire energetic state. It requires you to align your thoughts, your feelings, and crucially, your actions. As we saw with the woman who cleared her garage, belief without action often contradicts itself. The real magic of The Secret isn't about getting a new car or a bigger house. Those are just byproducts. The real magic is in the personal transformation that happens when you start living this way. When you commit to managing your thoughts and focusing on gratitude and joy, you become a different person. You become happier, more optimistic, more resilient. You start seeing the good in the world and in others. And that, in itself, is a life worth living, regardless of what material things show up. So how can you start applying this right now, today? Here are 3 simple actions you can take. First, start a gratitude practice. Tonight, before you go to sleep, write down 5 things you're grateful for from your day. It doesn't matter how big or small they are. The warmth of the sun, a good conversation with a friend, a meal you enjoyed. Feel the gratitude as you write. This simple act, done consistently, will begin rewiring your brain to look for the good. Second, pick one small thing you want to attract. Don't start with $1 million. As the book suggests, start with something small, like a cup of coffee or a parking space. Set the intention. I'm going to attract a free cup of coffee today. Then let it go. Believe it's on its way. This is about proving to yourself that the law works. When it shows up, you'll start building the faith you need for bigger things. And third, become aware of your words. For the next 24 hours, pay attention to how you speak about yourself and your life. Catch yourself when you say things like, "I can't," "I'm so tired," or "I'm broke." Replace them with what you do want. "I can," "I am full of energy," "Money comes to me easily." You might feel silly at first, but you're actively retraining your mind and changing the signal you're broadcasting. The Secret isn't just a book. It's an invitation. An invitation to awaken to the magnificent power that lies within you. It's a reminder that you're a creator, endowed with the ability to shape your world. And it all begins with a single thought. That was a summary of The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. We've touched on the main ideas today, but a summary can only ever be a map. It can't replace the journey itself. The true power of a book like this is discovered in the quiet moments of reading, when a story connects with your own experience, or a single sentence lands with a weight you didn't expect. This overview is here to help you see if this book's path is one you want to walk. If any of the ideas we've explored today have sparked something in you, I encourage you to pick up a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning. It's an experience that could genuinely change how you see yourself and the world around you. You can find a link to the book in the description below. Also, if you found this summary valuable and it gave you something to think about, please show your support by hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. That way, you won't miss our next deep dive into another life-changing book from the Billionaire's Bookshelf. Let's continue to learn and grow together.